Hey everybody, just Jesse here, welcoming you back into my man cave, my garage, for another day of accountability. And how's your accountability doing today? I hope it's doing so well. Today, if we move forward, is Thursday, June 11th, the year 2020, and I want to talk to you today about 2 Kings chapter 1. And what we're going to be talking about is how the measure of a man is how that he handles his power. So in this section, we see the king of Judah fall through some lattice work. The king gets deathly injured. I believe in my heart that he was probably, like broken back, broken neck, something like that. Um, but he told his servants to call on the god of Baal and see if he would recover from this. And so when he does that, it angers God, and it angers him so much that God gives Elijah a vision. In that vision, it says that the king will not get up from his bed and that he will die. So Elijah met with some messengers of the king and told them that. And when they went back to tell the king wanted to know first who it was, because not anybody can just give out prophecies. He wants to have it from a credible source. And so they told him I was a hairy guy with this leather belt, and they weren't too sure of his name, but the king knew. The king knew that that was Elijah. Now, the king sent a captain and 50 soldiers to go and get Elijah to bring him to the king. And when the captain and those 50 men got to where Elijah was on top of a hill, they told him, "Hey, come on down, come with us. We want you to go see the king. You have to." And Elijah's response was so powerful. It was a response that basically he just tells them that, so you think I'm a man of God, but you don't want to ask God for his opinion in anything. So Elijah calls down fire from heaven and kills those 50 guys and the captain. Now the king caught wind of this and sent another captain and another 50 guys up to do the same thing, and they did the same thing. They went at it the same way, and the same outcome happened. Another fire from heaven that consumed all 51 of them. And the king was running out of options here, so he sent another captain and another 50 men. But these 50 men and this captain went at it with a different angle. They begged for mercy. They knew what had happened to the other 102 men before them. And when they begged for mercy, Elijah waited for an angel of God to come down and confirm that he was supposed to go with them at that time. Now, there are a couple of things where Elijah was able to touch base with humanity, and we see that in verse 13 through 15. Elijah had both spiritual authority, but he also had anxiety at the same time. Verse 10 through 12 says that Elijah spoke harshly, and he did, but he was firm with power. And when he spoke harshly, that was him saying that, you guys want God's help now, but where were you when why didn't you ask for him instead of asking for this no-named whoever God? The third thing that we see is that Elijah showed no support, or no respect for the king's authority. Now, Elijah had spiritual authority in verses 13 through 15, and basically he sees the king as unfit to be a king, because basically the king of Judah is supposed to be going to God for everything, and he goes to just some God that doesn't mean anything to anybody, that can do nothing for anybody, instead of going to the one and only. Lastly, we see that Elijah required that the angel would come down and confirm with him where he was supposed to go and meet with the king. Now, if we're to have God in our lives, we should know that we have that spiritual authority too, over non-spiritual things, and over things that when God tells us to move, we need to move. God told Elijah that day that the king had no respect for God, and therefore he will die. Elijah sent that message, and the king did die. Just like God had foreshadowed, But as Christians and as leaders, we need to implement that in our life as well. We need to know that we can have the spiritual authority but still be anxious about things. We need to know that it's okay to require confirmation for the things that we believe are from God. God will send that confirmation to us, but we need to know that we can stand with powerful affirmations on this. Like we can make this. If it's from God, we can make that statement and know that without a shadow of a doubt that it's going to be the truth and that it's going to be from God. So when we see things come up and we have to deal with things on a daily basis, we do need to be praying for all of this. First of all, we need to be in communication with God every day. And in order to do that, we have to know that God is real. So I did learn a lot from 2 Kings chapter 1. There will always be something in me that wants to learn more, and I hope it does for you too. And I hope that what we talked about today just influenced you into getting into the Word, getting into the Bible, getting back into prayer and communication with God. And I hope that if this spoke to you, or if you can think of anybody in your inner circle that you would think that it would speak to, go ahead and send it to them. I always like to see your likes, comments, and see you subscribe. And lastly, if you want to see my videos every day, there's a little bell icon. Go ahead and click that, and you'll have notifications for my videos every day. Thanks, guys. Go and grow, be blessed, and be safe.